Morning, thanks for joining us for all about baby wearing and baby carriers for newborns. Thanks for all your questions in advance, that's great. We're all organised with lots of things I'm going to cover for you. And I'm going to demonstrate all the carriers that we've picked as our favourites for newborns. So let's get started. You'll be able to work out what the right one is for you. And if you haven't by the end of today, if you need more help, you can reach out with PM our page and one of our consultants will help you choose. If you're in Auckland, you can come for a one-on-one fitting. And also don't forget there's private baby wearing consultants right around New Zealand and Australia, and also there's lots of wonderful sling libraries run by volunteers with lots of expert knowledge, so you can reach out for any of those and get some more help. First carrier that we're going to cover is Stretchy wrap, a trusty Boba Stretchy wrap. So the Stretchy wrap is our number one pick for newborn carriers. Gives you the most ergonomic, comfy fit for your baby. It's the most kind of natural position, like your baby being in the womb basically. There's lots of different ways you can tie it, lots of different techniques, lots of different positions. I'm just showing you my favourite way because it gets a pretty consistently good, a good nice snug tie. So the thing with any kind of wrap carrier is the safety and comfort really comes down to how well you tie it and how well you position your baby. So it's not like a buckle carrier where you put it on and then you put the baby in it and it just fits the way the carrier fits. So with a stretchy wrap, you're going to tie it and then you're going to fit your baby in it perfectly every time. So this is the basic tie with a stretchy wrap. So it's pretty quick to put on. Stretchy wrap is quick to put on, particularly when you know how to do it. It only takes a couple of times to learn how to do it. Safety things with the stretchy wrap, you need to make sure it's snug. A wrap should be firm enough that you can twirl and your baby is secure. Okay, so that's one of the safety checks that you need to do with any carrier that you're wearing. The carrier has to hold your baby securely and firmly. It shouldn't need you just sort of in, standing here. You shouldn't feel the need to hold your baby. If you are, then your carrier is not firm enough. If you're bending, you do need to support your baby in any carrier if you're bending. So that's your first safety check, is the carrier firm enough that you're not going to drop your baby. Number one. Number two safety check with a stretchy wrap and with any carrier is, can your baby breathe? Okay, so don't drop your baby and make sure they can breathe. You don't need all the long lists of carrying safety, acronyms and ticks and ABC and everything else. Just don't drop your baby and make sure they can breathe. That's all the other lists mean. So in terms of breathing in a stretchy wrap, we recommend that you don't cover your baby's head because they can't breathe. So you can support the back of the head if you want to, and then on this side we recommend you just do a little shoulder flip like this so that your baby has got plenty of airflow on the other side. Make sure all the layers are over your baby, and then it really comes down to comfort and ergonomics, not safety. So making sure that your baby's tailbone is low, their knees are up high, and they're well supported in the wrap. Ta-da! So that is your Boba Stretchy wrap. So if you have any specific questions about that, let me know. You can use...
We do have one.
Yes?
Question, what weight will it hold?
Okay, so Boba wrap can be used from newborn. If it's a real little prem baby, then, we would advise you to see a baby wearing consultant or check with your doctor. These have a 16 kilo weight limit, which is at least a 2-year-old. In fact, I think my youngest was probably only 16 kilos when he started school. So weight wise, you'll get a lot of use out of it. It's common for people to use a stretchy wrap for maybe sort of 6 to 9 months, and then when their baby's getting really wriggly, a lot of people at that point, they will feel safer with a buckle carrier or something without the stretch. But you can keep using it as long as you feel it's secure and as long as it's comfy for both of you. Now we'll just show you a couple of other sorts of stretchy wraps. We did have a question on the event about the difference between 1 and 2-way stretch. So you'll see with my Boba wrap, it's got elastane or lycra in it. It stretches around me and around baby, so you can tie it really tight and still stretch it to get baby in. So it stretches this way and around. This is a 1-way stretch, which is a much more basic fabric, and a 1-way stretch has no stretch long ways. So in terms of tying it around you, there's no give in it this way, so you have to tie it firm enough that it'll hold your baby, but you still need to fit your baby in. So that's difficult. The 1-way stretch only stretches this way, which is the less helpful way that it stretches. So our advice is to always choose a 2-way stretchy wrap. So that's a Boba, JP, MBB, and a couple of other brands. But this one is our favourite, and the JP, MBB are amazing.
You have a question. Do you have the baby's legs out like you have now with a newborn?
Yes, you do. So when you get your Boba wrap, for really tiny babies, the Boba wrap instructions currently say to put the legs in, but they are just about to issue new instructions because all baby wearing consultants around the world now will recommend that you put the legs out from birth. They can be narrow, and they might, with a tiny baby, they'll probably be quite squished up like this. The knees will be up high, sticking into your nice squishy after pregnant belly. So it's not, well, actually mine is still squishy 8 years later, never mind. So yes, we recommend for safety reasons that you have your baby's legs outside of the X, up nice and high like this, and then you can tuck this cross pass over the top. But this means that there's no pressure on your baby's feet, and you're only opening their hips as wide as they're comfortable. So when you're changing your baby's nappy and they're lying on the back, you'll see they kind of naturally open their hips into a little kind of froggy position. That's pretty much what you're replicating here.
My baby keeps turning her head into the wrap side. Does the head have to be on one side? I can't seem to get her to the other side to prevent this.
Okay, so the key thing with your baby's face is you want to wear them high. So some baby wearing safety will talk about being close enough to kiss. So you can see here, I can kiss this baby's head, leave a lipstick on it, without like craning my neck. So when your baby is close enough to kiss, they're high up, firm against the hard part of your chest. So you want your baby's face up nice and high, so if they do put their face against your chest, it's firm. If they're down too low, they can squish their face into your boobs and then they can suffocate, particularly if then you're like covering them. You know, this is kind of unsafe baby wearing. Down low, covered over. In terms of, do they have to be on one side or the other? No, they don't. You just need to make sure that that there's sufficient airways. So if your baby tends to, change heads or whatever, I would just wear both sides quite low. Do your little shoulder flip like that. So whichever way that they put their face, there's plenty of air. As long as you've got both of these passes across your baby's back and the cross pass up to the nape of their neck or the bottom of their ears, that is very safe and secure. And also always putting your babies with a newborn, always have the hands up here because that's extra airflow by their face, and it also means that they can, suck on their little fingers.
Will they fit fluffy mamas?
Fluffy mamas, yeah. I've never had a customer who a Boba wrap didn't fit. So, however fluffy, they've always been able to use a Boba wrap or a JPMBB. The way that the 2-way stretch, it means you can get it nice and firm, it'll be still comfy, and it'll stretch to fit you and your baby. But they're 5 meters long, so it'll go around you. You might not have, if you're sort of size 24, 26, whatever, you might not have a lot left to tie, but it'll still fit. We can still make it work for you, no matter what your size. Now we're going to get into talking about buckle carriers, of which there are probably hundreds, but we have dozens of different ones. And so Amelia and I sat down and we kind of talked through what are our most popular ones, what are our baby wearing consultants recommend most often, what do we find are the best. So we've got 2 Bobas and 2 Becos to show you. These are the ones that we find most often one of these four will fit most of our customers' needs. They are quite different, so I'll just go through them all relatively quickly, and remember we're just focusing on newborns for today. The Boba X can fit from newborn up to about a 3 or 4 year old. It's very, very versatile. You can cinch it down to tiny across the waist, across the panel, and then it also has toddler seat extenders, which mean it's the widest carrier that's not a toddler carrier. So one of the key things with using a buckle carrier with a newborn is that you need the seat width to be suitable for how wide your newborn's hips can open, and you need the back panel to come to the nape of the neck or the ears. So a lot of buckle carriers, they don't really get those two things right. So this is the main, reason that we're showing you these carriers, because they get the fit right even with little babies. You might still need to tweak them a bit, and we can help you get the right fit. But if you see that there, in terms of the height of the baby, the height of the panel, the Boba X is ace. So with this one, there's many ways you can do the straps, but a trick that we quite like is to do the chest strap first, over your head, and then put the straps on, because a lot of people find that that strap behind is a bit tricky to reach. So that's actually Alicia's trick. And then these have got dual adjustable straps, which is one of my favourite features, so you can tighten here, but I find tightening from the back is so much easier than trying to fiddle around here. So that's the Boba X. We actually had one of the baby wearing consultants that we know well from Taupo recently had a new baby, and she just did a review on, I posted it on like all our pages, but her review of the Boba X with her new baby was a really glowing review, and I think even she was surprised by how awesome this carrier is. So you can see it's really beautiful, kind of soft, well-fitting carrier with the newborn. You can cinch this in nice and small. You can do the pelvic tuck, so you tuck the tailbone under and the knees nice and high. There's plenty of airflow, baby's nice and high, and you don't have to fiddle with it. This one just fits a newborn without you having to do anything apart from change the height and the width of the panel. This is our last one. This one's called Onyx Tile, and it's my favourite, and they're not making any more, so damn you, Boba. It's beautiful. 2 layers of light cotton, so it's pretty good for summer. Boba carriers are loved for summer because they're not super tight fitting, so there's good ventilation, and they're 100% cotton. The Beco carriers I'll show you next, they're more like a quick dry sporty mesh fabric. So some people like the sporty fabric, some people like natural fibre, and you'll probably know that for yourself. Like, I hate synthetics. I don't really like wearing those kind of running t-shirts. I don't actually like running, to be truthful. But for even gentle exercising, I would not wear those synthetic quick dry tops, but some people swear by it. So for summer, you'll know whether you want a kind of a quick drying kind of a dry fit sort of mesh, or whether you want cotton, and then it kind of comes down to how many layers, and the Bobas with 2 layers are a good option. The Boba 4GS is a very simple 100% cotton carrier. It works from newborn with this position, 3 to 6 months with this position, and then when you take the insert out, that'll go you from about 6 months to 2 years. So I'll show you the newborn position, because that's what we're meant to be talking about today. Get these straps. So this also has the dual adjustable straps that I love, that you can tighten from behind. It also has the sliding rail that you can do up and flick over your head. Just bearing in mind about getting the panel height right for your newborn, with the Boba 4GS, that works by the cushion. So if you see there, baby sitting on this cushion, getting to the right height, and then when we lift the panel up, we're aiming for baby to have the panel up to the kind of ear height. And you can just, with a real baby, not this fake baby, their knees would be high and their bum would be low. And then this is how simple this carrier is. Just lift it up, do the straps if that's how you like to do it. Pop that on, check the panel height, and then do the dual adjustable straps. I'll just whip that off so you can see. So that's the 4GS. So you can do the pelvic tilt again, reach in, just rotate your baby so their tailbone's low and their knees are nice and high. And you can fold that down if you want to see, have a little bit more airflow there, baby's hands are up. And that's the 4GS, so super simple, super good value, really good for summer because it's just cotton, and it's really easy to get a good position for your baby in.
Someone has asked, can you wear baby forward facing in either of the Bobas or just facing you?
Just facing you or on your back. So Boba don't make forward facing carriers under this brand, they're just facing in this like really ergonomic cuddling you position. And from around about, I don't know, kind of 9 months maybe, somewhere around once baby's holding their head up confidently, you're not worried about them slumping down and cutting off the airways, then you can start to wear them on their back.
Another question, do you put the feet on waistband or under it?
On top of the waistband. So yeah, the waistband should be really snug, and you'll see on me that it's quite high, probably higher than you would expect. This one doesn't have to be super high because of the cushion is providing the right height for baby. But you want your waistband really snug, and see how this is horizontal. This is also a good tip here, that for comfort for parents you want your waistband horizontal, not if you have it loose all the weight will come into the small of your back, and you'll also end up with your baby disappearing down inside the carrier, which is not ideal. So yeah, so the always with any carrier the legs are on top or over the waistband depending on their size. Then the legs are never down like this. And I do remember one of the movie celebrities, I can't remember who it was, and he was like proudly wearing his new baby around like this and got slated all over social media.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was awful for him because he obviously just hadn't read the instructions, and you know, but this is not what you're looking for.
Another customer just said that they received their Boba X on Tuesday and it was the best purchase ever. It's so comfortable to wear, and she said she's on the larger side and it fits her beautifully. Thanks, Sweet Store.
Awesome. Please write a review for us, because those are questions that we get all the time. So now I'm going to show you, we're going to just have a quick look at the two Beco carriers. This one here is literally our most popular baby carrier of the buckle carriers, Beco Gemini. This one is very, very compact. You can see like it folds up small. It's a quick dry mesh. It's designed for the California summer, so that gives you an idea of how cool it is to wear, and it also, the panel has some protection factor. I can't remember which number, it's on the website. But anyway, so the Beco Gemini Cool is a really easy to use, comfortable, lightweight carrier. Really good for year round, but particularly good for summer. So you'll see with this one, I've got this really high up. And since this one doesn't have, it doesn't have an adjustable panel, so the 4GS has the cushion. The Boba X, you can adjust the height of the panel. With the Beco Gemini, you adjust the height of the panel by how high up you wear it, because how much fabric scoops down under the baby's bum determines how high up the panels sit on your baby. So with a newborn, you need to wear it much higher than you would imagine, and then as your baby gets taller, you can drop it down to like low slung on your hips, like where you probably thought you were going to put your carrier. So I think this is one thing that we really want to emphasize today, that you need to take responsibility as the wearer for getting the panel to the right height on your baby, and this, you know, how you do it with different carriers will be different. With all carriers for newborns, you're looking for this kind of position of sort of how you would carry them in your arms, high up, face against the firm part of your chest, the hips open, out of the carrier, but you know, your baby will tell you how wide they can have their hips. They won't let you position them in a way that's uncomfortable for them. So with the Gemini, you want it high up and you want it to be coming down, scooping under your baby's bum, aiming for that panel height to the nape of the neck. So we do see with the Gemini, it's very easy to use, but you may just need to fiddle around with how you wear it to get the height just right. I'm showing you the Gemini straps crossed. You can use the Gemini backpack style as well, but most of our customers choose to wear it this way because it's so easy and it's so comfy. So you can see there, nice clear airways. You can wear the straps wide on your shoulders if you like. There's plenty of airway for baby. The position is nice and supported. You can get the little knees up and the tailbone down. And if you find that your baby is getting into this position, just scoop under and do what we call a pelvic tilt. So you're just lifting the thighs and tilting the bum under. So I always say to people, you're aiming for the tailbone to be the lowest, not the crotch, which would be more this kind of position that's pushing your baby flat. So while this is an outstandingly good, simple to use carrier, you do still need to make sure that your baby is in a good position. It is important to note that with carriers, remember we started off baby wearing with newborns, there's two safety things. Don't drop your baby, and can your baby breathe? In terms of the ergonomics about, you know, is their tailbone lowest, is their knees higher, you know, have they got a nice gentle curve to their spine? Those are comfort factors, they're not safety factors. And, you know, you need to just, those are the things that you can tweak over time as you get more confident using a carrier. So that's the Gemini.
My husband, I'm 5'2" and my husband is 6'2". Can we both use the Gemini comfortably?
Yes, you can. So we've got in our team here, we've got Julie, who, I think Julie's probably shorter than me and she's about half the width of me. And then we've got James, who's 6'7", and they both use this exact carrier. So, you know, the Gemini will fit pretty much anybody. Yeah, height-wise, because any of the carriers that have got crossable straps, that can give you a bit more versatility in terms of the height, because when they are crossed they use up more strap length, and so for a really tall guy you might just want them backpack style. That's like a lot of more height than me. So just while we're here too, if you've got a Boba or any carrier which crosses the straps, I'll just give you a little tip to getting them to fit nicely. Come straight over your shoulder first and then cross down lower. Just find where to buckle it in. It's very tempting for new users. They'll cross it up here and grab it up high, and then you can see where it sits on your neck. So if we just do that again, cross it over as if you're going to wear it backpack style, and then cross it low across your back. And so that's how you'll get it out sitting away from your neck and out wider on your shoulders. The key kind of things that people don't find comfy or don't get right when they're first using it is they can have it too low, so it's kind of putting pressure on the wrong part of them, or that's often more that what's giving a bad fit for the baby because they're wearing it down low and the baby's like swallowed up in their boobs somewhere like this, so this is not comfy. So get it nice and high on you and make sure that your waistband is straight, is one of the most important things. Secondly, make sure you're only carrying for short periods of time. It's really easy when you get a new carrier and you're like so excited about being hands-free and being able to leave the house that people will start trying to carry for hours on end, and the muscles that you use for carrying are quite different, so just build up your carrying muscles gradually, and then try that tip with the crossed straps. If you haven't been wearing them crossed, swap to doing that and carry over your shoulder and then cross low on your back so it's not rubbing up on your neck. And if those three things don't help, definitely give us a shout. So that's the newborn position, and that will last on average about 3 months. But once you find that your baby's legs are dangling out the side, I might just put it back on and show you. Once it's not looking supportive for your baby's legs, then you can move it out to the wider setting. The key thing with the Gemini being supportive is doing that pelvic tilt where you scoop your baby's bum under so the tailbone is lowest and the knees are higher. So if your baby's legs are straight down, the back will be quite flat, or even if you over tighten it, it's just not a good fit. So yeah, so this is also, you know, people can feel the carrier is not quite right, so they'll keep yanking on it here, and this is not. There's a really good video from Romy Hunt, who's from Southeast Slings in England, who does the most amazing videos. Thank you, Romy. And also Dr. Rosie Knowles from Carrying Matters. She has a whole blog and videos and pictures and everything about the pelvic tilt. So reach in, scoop the tailbone under and lifting the thighs up. So that's your kind of knees higher, like that. So, I mean, you don't need, with the new baby, you don't need to fuss too much, you know, like you can get it absolutely perfect, but it's for, you know, a cuddle, hands-free. Try not to get too anxious about the positioning of your baby. If you buy a good carrier, it'll fit pretty fine. And it's also good to know, people do worry about the hip position in their carriers because there's been an awful lot of misinformation that has circulated about baby wearing in hips. The reality is that in a lot of countries overseas now, they actually treat hip problems in babies by using a carrier. So rather than, like, you know, braces and plaster and everything else, hours a day of carrying in a wide-seated carrier will actually help to resolve a lot of issues. It certainly won't cause issues. If the baby has predisposition to hip dysplasia or has diagnosed issues, then you should, you know, make sure you have a wide seat, and that you should see a carrying consultant or talk to your specialist. But you know, for the average baby, something like this is really ergonomic and really fine. And then, so you can see here in this is a kind of a 2-month size doll, and that narrow position is plenty supportive enough. And then when the baby is bigger, these just pop out to here, but you can see at that point it's forcing the legs much too wide. But if I had my other doll, it would be good. And now I'm going to show you the Beco 8. We realised that Beco's actually never got around to making any proper videos, so there's like a bad video of me unboxing it, and one from Romy in the UK. So the Beco 8 is called the Beco 8 because it has 4 carrying positions and it has 2 modes. So you can have inwards facing, outwards facing, hip and back. So it does, actually the Gemini does that as well. So all the baby wearing positions, and then it has the mesh mode, and it also has under here somewhere, it also has the cotton version. So 4 times 2 is 8. It did take me quite a while to work that out when I was like, why did they call it the Beco 8? And then when I worked it out, I was like, oh, but thick. It's a bit of a weird name. Okay, so the Beco 8, even though it's a Beco carrier, it actually has the Boba insert because they're owned by the same company, just to confuse us all. So the same, the Beco 8 has this little easy to use insert, 2 positions, and then get rid of it. This has a 20 kilo weight limit, so it will last you from newborn up to, I don't know, a 2 or 3 year old, depending on how long their legs are. So I'll just show you how to put it on. To get the panel the right height for a newborn with the Beco 8, just sit them up on here, hands up, knees are up nice and high, carrier just comes up and over, and over. So this is the Beco 8. You can see the legs are inside and the knees are quite higher because your baby's sitting on the little insert cushion. You can cross the straps or you can wear it backpack style. But I'll just give you one more tip here. With any carriers that you normally for ones that you're crossing the straps, but this tip works for all carriers. If it's loose here, don't tighten it here, because remember, this is just going to crush your baby. So what you want to do is find out where the slack is. The slack in the straps is here. So lift it round. See how that pulled the slack out here? And then you only very gently need to tighten it. So you're not over tightening on the spine, but you are getting rid of where it was too baggy up here. Ta-da! Beco 8. So very simple to use, very versatile, warm, cool, inwards, outwards, all the different things that you need. And height wise, it's a very generous sized carrier, so it will last you quite a long time. You know, on average, you'd say at around 3 months, you'd move to the wider setting, and at around 6 months, you'd ditch the insert altogether. But there's, you know, rather than it being a specific, like counting down the days, just judge based on, you know, how high your baby is and how wide their hips are. So I'll show you a slightly bigger doll with the wider setting. So this is about a 4-month baby with also stupid legs that don't work properly. So you can see here that's going out to more like the knees on the bigger baby, but you can also see it starting to get a bit high on me, so at that point you could just drop this down slightly. So baby is still in a good position, but I'm not getting the baby too far up in my face. And that's still coming to the right panel height. This is a very, very popular carrier now because of its versatility. It's so easy to get a good fit. Had loads of people who thought they were going to spend, you know, $350 on a different brand, and they came in for this, and this just does everything that they need. Yeah, like that.
Nice.
Cool. So now I'm going to show you ring slings. This is our second category, ring slings. This is one of our most popular options for newborns. And ring slings come in either a stretchy fabric, which is what I'm showing you here, or ring slings come in the same kind of woven fabrics that woven wraps come in. I'm going to attempt to put this on so you get the full demonstration. So if you've got ring sling questions, fire through your ring sling questions now and I will attempt to answer them. So this is the JPMBB. It's called a little wrap without a knot. They do come from Paris, so they do have very cute names. It's my favourite ring sling to use with newborns because it's easy to learn and it's very beautiful, soft, stretchy fabric. And it's also, for a lot of people, they see the Boba wrap or another stretchy wrap and it's 5 meters long and it's kind of overwhelming. This is just really small and compact, so it's good for carrying around in your bag for quick carries. You know, if you're taking other children to school or to a play centre or whatever and you need a quick pop in and you know, tie it quickly, this stretchy ring sling is a great option. And also we often hear from customers, oh my goodness, what will I do? The wrap will dangle in the puddle in the car park kind of thing. So this gives you the feel of a stretchy wrap, but it's small and quick. Just a note with the babies that these are like fake babies and their knees and their hips don't bend quite the same as a real baby. So with a ring sling, they work in the same way that a hammock does. So you need to have the two edges of the hammock higher, and where the bum goes is the low point. So you can see here the bum, this is where you can see the hips don't work properly with this fake baby. The baby's bum goes over the edge of the sling and you tighten it by the outside here. So once you've mastered how to thread a ring sling, they're very, very quick to use, like this. fake.
Baby's leg is a bit funny. Isn't it?
Yeah, they don't kind of they don't fold quite the same way. But you can see you can get the bum nice and low, the knees up nice and high. It's a very natural kind of position that you would be carrying in your arms, but you can just whip it on and then you can be hands-free. So our test of did the baby move? Stretchy wrap is good. Remember, if you're bending, support your baby. And then if we just do a quick check for airways, you can see that baby's nice and high. There's no fabric over the baby's face. So very safe and very quick to use. The one particularly is really comfy because it stretches across your back and it stretches really nicely over your shoulder, whereas some of the other ones that are woven fabric, there's no stretch here, so it pretty much means you can't, unless you wear it higher up, you can't really use this arm.
We do have one question. What weight range?
I think this one comes up to 15 kilos now, 14 kilos. So the stretchy one's newborn to 14 kilos. Some of the other ones, like this is a beautiful one from Sakura Bloom, which is one of our most popular brands. These are handmade in San Diego in the Sakura Bloom workshop. This one is from their Theory range, and it feels kind of like cashmere. It's not, but they're incredibly soft and beautiful, and they make lovely linen slings. So I think these have more like a 15, 16 kilo limit, but it really, the rings are weight tested to 1,000 kilos. Yeah, they're just solid metal that's been tested. And then it really just comes down to whether the fabric's comfy for you and regularly just checking that stitching is firm. So a lot of people use a ring sling right up through toddlerhood and even beyond.
Okay, so that answers one of our questions about the age of the baby. Suddenly they're all flying in with questions. Okay, can you feed in a ring sling is the first question.
Yeah, you can feed in a ring sling. You just loosen it off and lower baby down to boob height. Produce your boob, feed, and then just take the weight back on your arm and then tighten it back up. So with any of our carriers, you'll notice I'm using them, even with a newborn, we're using them in the upright position, which is the best for airflow. So we don't show babies in slings any longer. Like when I had my kids, I think I first started using a ring with my now 11-year-old, they actually came, you wore them in this position. Which can, you'd feed them in this position, you'd carry them around, but that could very easily cut off their airways if their chin ends up on their chest. So we never would now suggest that you do that, apart from maybe a quick feed and then straight back upright. But babies are quite happy in slings. Any of our carriers you can feed just by loosening them off and dropping baby lower.
Got another question saying that they worry about baby's head being supported in a ring sling. Should I be concerned, or are they still supported?
They're very well supported. You're aiming with, I shouldn't have taken it off. With any of the carriers, you're aiming for your baby to be supported to kind of the bottom of their ears. It's called the nape of the neck, so this kind of piece across the back of their neck. So if your baby's supported to there, their head should not be flopping around. And also if you've got the baby in the kind of optimum position, they actually have got a gentle curve in their spine and their head is up against you. So they shouldn't be in this kind of real upright dangling around position. They should be in this, knees are up, bum is down, head is on the firm part of your chest kind of position. So when they're tired or if they fall asleep, they're falling asleep on the firm part of your chest. And yeah, you might just need to experiment with how high up the carrier goes so that you feel your baby's head is supported but the airways are still clear. Most people will wear a ring sling on one shoulder, like no matter how many times I've tried, I actually just can't. I can't even get myself to tie it up on the other, to thread it on the other shoulder. So you'll naturally, most people will wear their sling on the opposite hand to the hand they write with. So I can still do anything with my right hand, and the sling is on this shoulder. So I think it's, experienced ring sling users might have a different opinion. I'm not that experienced with them, but most people would carry on one shoulder. You can still have really good posture, particularly with a little baby when it doesn't weigh much, but that's like building up your core and your carrying muscles over time, and really being conscious of not like going like this with your baby in your sling, because guess what, this will wreck your back really quick. So you need to like suck it in, use those core muscles, and really be conscious of, you know, having both feet evenly on the ground. And ring slings, you know, you need to kind of weigh up if that's the best option for you for long carries. You know, I think ring slings have a great place for quick carries, you know, in and out of places. Little babies, they're fine for hours, but if you're doing like long walks or, you know, 2-hour hikes or whatever, I probably wouldn't choose a ring sling for that, because that is going to put a lot of weight, particularly as your child gets bigger, a lot of weight on one shoulder. This is a Meh-Dai, which is quite long and dangly, and this is a very popular type of carrier with experienced baby wearers. Love a good Meh-Dai because it gives you the beauty and the softness of a woven wrap, but it's kind of half tied, good to go. So it has the same kind of basic idea as a buckle carrier in that it has a waist and it has shoulder straps, but it has more kind of you can get it a better fit in a lot of cases than you can with a buckle carrier. These are also a really good option for summer, because like a woven wrap, it's kind of 1 or 2 layers of thin cotton. This is a Diva Essenza Meh-Dai. I think, sorry, this colour's actually discontinued. With any carrier, this is the height that you're looking for the carrier to be, from the tailbone to the nape of the neck. So if you look at something like this carrier here, the panel is clearly longer than that measurement. So if we go from here, it's going way past the tailbone. So I'm just going to show you a trick of how to get it to fit right. So with a Meh-Dai, because they're really soft, you can just roll it to the height you need. Do we have some love for Meh-Dais from our people watching?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And so here too, because it's soft and squishy, that's its full panel. You can use the little adjuster here, or you can just squish it. So you can get it to be as big or as little as you want. So if we sit baby there now, you see baby is at the right height, close enough to kiss, and hopefully when I lift it up it's going to be the right height. I'm just going to put the hood on the inside so that you can actually see what I'm doing. I never really like the hoods. Some people love a good hood. Do you like the hoods? Let us know. I did actually ask that on one of our groups. Should I order Meh-Dais with no hoods? And everyone said, no, they have to have a hood. I was the only one who didn't like the hoods. That's always my first thing with a buckle carrier, to take off the hood and stash it somewhere. Okay, so you'll see on this one, and a lot of Meh-Dais have nice wide straps, so they're quite like, you know, wearing a wrap. So then this comes across the back. I'll endeavour to do this.
That's it, you got it.
Okay, so you can see here that you can put this nice and wide over your shoulders. And then you can actually get that fit perfect by, say, if I look at this here, the blue is closest to my shoulder, so if I want to tighten it closer to my neck, I can pull it on that side if I want to tighten the other side. So the same concept as a woven wrap, you can tighten it right across the width of the wrap. Across, under. If you were skinny you could tie it at the front, but clearly I'm not, so I'll just tie it at the back. So again, these all fit quite a wide range of sizes, from a really, really tiny size 6 person to a fluffier mum. And then here's how you can just get a really nice fit with your baby. You can spread the weight right across your back. You can do the little tuck so that your baby's tailbone is low. get that over there. And then you might just, as you get used to using it, you can fiddle around with how wide you like those and making sure that there's plenty of air for your baby there. It's a bit of average tie job, but you'll get the idea. If you can't find resources for a question, then just always send us a message either through our group or through our main page. And thank you to my technical assistants, Amelia and Georgie. Woo! I would turn the camera around and show you, but they'll run away.
Bye.